We are still in conversation with Deepthi Bopaiah, the CEO at GoSports Foundation, Aparna Popat, Olympian and co-founder at All Is Well, and Megha Gambhir, co-founder and CEO at Stupa Sports Analytics. Megha, let me come to you now, because we were talking about the business of sport. What has been the adoption, the acceptance, for instance, for a product like yours? And more importantly, as you said, we've seen life outside of cricket now really take off as far as Indian sports is concerned, from kabaddi to volleyball. There's lots of avenues that have opened up. But how easy or challenging is it to make this monetizable, a product like yours?
3 years back, I think I was the one where I was struggling a lot, because whenever I was talking to any one of them, even when we're talking about investor segment or any other, so cricket was the only thing which was actually, people were, sort of very keen on. But now the scenario has been very, very different from the fundraising perspective as well. I've seen a lot of funds which has come out, sports tech funds who are investing a lot in sports. They are already there outside, but in India, we have seen a lot of sports tech funds have now come in and they are supporting a lot of sports tech startup, because they are seeing how this sports sector is growing. In terms of accepting the product as well as using and monetizing it, see, I would be quite honest in this, that we are still seeing that, acceptance within the Indian market is I would say still slower than how we are doing it at global market. We are still, I would say 80% of our revenues come from the global market, because we could see that the acceptance and the vision to accept such technology is quite higher there. Having said that, but we are not, I would say, taking a seat back here. We are trying to push our horses quite fast and trying to get to the federations, talk to a lot of government professionals as well, to ensure that they understand how this is going to be changing the entire ecosystem of the sports within India, which is just not about, like I said, performance of the athletes, but also about changing the entire landscape when we are talking about the federation. And we are seeing that people now, of course, with the change, they are open for digitization, they're open to accept such things, and they're also open to pay for it. However, if you compare it from global till India, there is still a difference, but I'm hopeful that with the kind of medal tallies we are having year on year, I'm sure that this is going to change.
No, and that is the hope, that we will start to see a maturing of the ecosystem here as well, of adoption, faster adoption and acceptance of products like yours. But Deepthi, let me come back to you, because as we said, the difference in the way that elite athletes get access to infrastructure, funding and so on and so forth is very different from the emerging athletes. And if we want to create this sporting culture that you were all talking about, what needs to change to ensure that? Through your experience of having done this now for the last 15 years, where do you believe we need to focus, and what do we need to prioritize, the private sector as well as the government and federations?
So, Shri, one of the most important things to acknowledge is the collaboration between private, government and, the public sectors now. Our early years where everyone was doing their own independent things, and there was a lot of overlap and things that were not required. Today, I think a lot of credit has to go to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, the TOP scheme. I'm also a member and committee member of the TOP scheme. So there is, constant collaboration between private organizations and the government to try and see what can we do to complement the efforts of everyone. In terms of the emerging and the junior athletes, I think that's where the gap happens, because a lot of time support, especially a country like ours, everyone wants to fund a medalist. Nobody knew a lot of the medalists 6 years, 8 years ago. So I think one aspect would be through these CSR opportunities. If you are looking at empowering young girls, if you're looking at inclusion, if you're looking at disability, if you're looking at excellence, sport actually caters to every single area of the SDG. And I think it's important that corporate India looks at it from that perspective. And if they can start investing into the junior athletes rather than the top of the pyramid, I think the government can always take up the top, the elite, right? It's really at the state level, because sport is a state subject. And that's where you want a lot more support, a lot more infrastructure, a lot more training, a lot more things to be given at the young age. Because there's no point getting an athlete to the top when they're much older and then introducing them to sports science, to tech, and to, sleep and hydration techniques and all of that. So I think if collaboration is already happening, but the investment needs to come in at the middle level, I would say, not even the bottom, because there are different organizations working in the sports for development piece, in the physical literacy piece. But what happens between that emerging? And when we started GoSports, we realized that almost 80% of athletes actually drop out after a national level opportunity. So probably over the years, we've missed out on Olympians and Paralympians along the way, because that support system is not there. So now, I would confidently say in the last 2 Olympic cycles, we've definitely seen that the steps have been built, the ladder is being built. So I think different stakeholders coming in to really create that ladder right up to the top is really going to be beneficial.
So, Aparna, let's take that forward. How do we build the ladder right up to the top? And, as Deepthi was pointing out, that we have seen changes, perhaps some of it resulting in the kind of wins that we are seeing today at the Asian Games, our best tally ever. The hope is that we'll do the best at Paris 2024 as well. But if I were to ask you on what next in terms of the public-private sector collaboration that Deepthi was also talking about, and more importantly, as far as all is well is concerned, is there a target that you have set for yourself on what you would like to achieve over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, I think first I absolutely agree with Deepthi. I think collaboration is the key. We're seeing a lot of public-private partnerships, which is great. Again, just coming to the point of creating a system, right? As she mentioned, it's a ladder. I think just investing in creating a system by which you can record and you can monitor and you can track, several talented sportspersons, so that we don't lose out on talent. We need to multiply the medals, and we need to multiply them fast. I think the Asian Games is a great success, but it needs to be better for a country as large as ours. So how really can we do that? I think, at All Is Well, we're a young startup, just a year old. I think we've already got 14 athletes in the Indian team. In fact, we've got 1 medalist at the Asian Games as well in badminton. So I think we're fairly confident that the expertise and that we're providing is actually working. Now, how many people can we reach? I think that is the question. And also, as Deepthi said, can we affect that middle brass? I absolutely agree with her. That's where, this kind of an expertise would be extremely valuable. And then also contribute to the sporting culture, as I said, take it to the amateur and the recreational athletes as well, just so that the experiences of sport get better, the health of our country gets better, and at the high performance level and at the elite level, I think the talent scouting has to be better. And that can happen through an integrated fitness app like ours.
Megha, 10 seconds. What's your target for Stupa Sports?
I think, so what we are trying to basically achieve is that we really want, within India in next, few years, all of these sports and the federations are completely digitized, and they literally use the platform for managing their tournaments, managing the leagues or streaming, and then use that data to scout the right talent, as well as help them in their performance analysis. That's our target, and that's what we are trying to work on with the Indian government, as well as with a lot of federations within India, just not in racket sport, but all other sports as well. And that's what we are trying to achieve, from this platform, what we have built, which is Make in India.
Thanks very much, ladies, for joining us. Appreciate your time. We will take a quick break here on the show. There's a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a minute with more.